Welcome to Roadtrip WDW. I'm your host, Rebecca Schlau. This is episode 23, and I'm continuing the Disney World trip review from December. Yeah, I know, I'm late getting this out. I get it. If anyone's actually been following along with my little podcast, you know that it's taken me an extended period of time just to get any content out. But let's go ahead and dive right in. As promised, I talked about the most expensive splurge day I've ever had at Disney World, and that would be this date that I'm about to go over. This was December 3rd. I believe it was a Tuesday, and I had several things planned for this day, and it just kind of all fell into place. When I started planning my Disney World trip for December, one of the things, of course, I had to do was go to the Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party. So December 3rd was a Tuesday, and I hear it's not so crazy on Tuesday. So it was a great day to book it. And then later on, I found out that they were going to have that early morning magic event that same morning. I was like, ugh. But I really wanted to do it because we had such a good time last time, so I booked that too. And then I kept hearing really great reviews about during the Christmas party, like if you want to eat and just experience, everything to the max, there's this Tony's Town Square party. And I'll go into more details about why I had to do it in just a little bit. But let's go ahead and start off the morning. The morning was early morning magic at the Magic Kingdom. And I've talked about this event before on the show, but what it is you get 75 minutes, so, an hour and 15 minutes before the park opens, you and everyone else who paid for this event get to go into Fantasyland and ride all the rides, and then from, after the park opens, then you go have a really great breakfast at Cosmic Rays. We had done it before and we loved it. This is a great way to maximize your time, get a lot of those rides in that usually have a long line, or usually the fast passes get gotten. So if you're like me and happen to forget to get your fast passes when you should have, that one time, it happened once, y'all, then early morning magic is for you. If y'all, the big if you got that dough, y'all, it's expensive. I'm not going to lie. I've told y'all this before, and this is my splurge, and I don't know why I'm embarrassed to say this, but I'm pretty sure, I can't exactly remember, but I think it was around 89 or 79 bucks per adult, and somewhere around 69 to 79 bucks for kids for this event. There's 5 of us. Luckily, since my son is under 3, I didn't have to pay for him. But that means I did have to pay for 2 adults and 2 kids. Y'all do the math. 90, 90, 80, 80. So, yes, it's an expensive day. But I've already done it before. I knew it was worth it for us because I knew we could ride Seven Dwarfs Mine Train over and over again. And I knew that we'd have such a good time. Plus, the breakfast that they give you is really good. So we started off the day, we have to wake up pretty early because you have to get there before park openings. That means, I can't remember exactly what time the park opened. I think it opened at 9 maybe. So that means we needed to be at the Magic Kingdom, before 8 o'clock, because I think the early morning magic started around 7:45 or something like that. So we made sure we got there by about 7:15. So we had to wait in a little line at the very front entrance, 30 minutes. But they do check you. They check your, they make sure you have your tickets. You pretty much get scanned in, and you get a wristband that says that, you're supposed to be there. And so they do not let you in the park any sooner. They let you in right at 7:45, and you essentially get the free for all for Fantasyland. And so the rides that you could go on include Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, Peter Pan, The Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh, The Little Mermaid, Teacups, Small World, Princess Fairy Tale Hall, which means you can meet several different characters. So it's just a great way to knock all these things off your list for that day and not have to worry about wasting a fast pass on it. And so my son, he's still not big enough to go on Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, but that's okay. I don't really like going on roller coasters back to back because my motion sickness, I can handle it probably once. So my husband took my two older girls on that several times, and there's like no wait. I mean, just hop right on. And I took my son on the mini adventures of Winnie the Pooh several times, and it's fun because he's 2. So I don't think, he remembers from our trip when he was barely 2 from the summer, but you could tell he was really getting even more into it. And we went on Peter Pan. I think the carousel's open. It's funny that we want to waste time on that, but we met some characters and we had free reign. I did not go on Small World. I believe it was open. I think it's supposed to be open, or Teacups. I didn't waste my time on that because those typically don't have big lines anyway. Kind of like the carousel too, but when I was waiting with my son, there just wasn't much to do since we had already ridden Pooh Bear several times and gone through Peter Pan several times. And I don't know why my kids love the carousel, but whatever. They think it's just fantastic. So we love early morning magic. One thing that really scared me is that when they announced the dates to early morning magic, I just went ahead and booked it because I knew we loved it. I knew we wanted to do it. And then I looked at the ride list, and that Peter Pan ride was surprisingly not included in the list. Almost deliberately, like that, and it caused quite a stir. We were very, very fortunate, though, that it was included, which is great because had they not included that in the list, I don't know. I really just think it would diminish the value because Peter Pan is one of those rides that always has a long wait, and I hate wasting a fast pass on it personally because while my kids seem to love it, I mean, it's a cute ride. It really is cute, but I mean, it's just, I don't know. I don't like it that much to want to have to wait in line, or I really don't like burning up fast passes for it, but I do because the kids do like it, and they always want to go on it, but you really can't ride it without a fast pass unless you want to wait in at least an hour line. So luckily it was included. Thank goodness. Now, after that, the early morning magic ends and everyone else gets to run into the park. So it's 9:00 and so we have to decide what we want to do. At this point, we still have a whole hour to go eat breakfast because the breakfast buffet that is included, or the breakfast that's included with your early morning magic, doesn't close until 10. So it's kind of up to you. If I were you and you were going to do the early morning magic, I would go ride some rides first or ride something. I think it's a good idea to hit up, Space Mountain. I think we ended up going to Buzz Lightyear or something like that. Something that we could do over there by Cosmic Rays that sometimes has a line that we didn't really want to waste a fast pass on. Because essentially, you're smack dab in the middle of Magic Kingdom at Rope Drop, right when the park opened. So you still, in some ways, you kind of have an advantage over the other crowds that are just coming in through the official gate. So I think we went over there to Buzz Lightyear. And then right after that, we're experienced Disney goers, so we didn't try to fit in anything else, and we weren't really worried about fitting in another ride. I can't remember, but I'm wondering, I think my husband may have gone on Space Mountain with the 2 girls, which, I wish I loved Space Mountain like I used to. But I just can't do it. It hurts my head. So we go to Cosmic Rays, and I love the breakfast that they have here. So you just go up to all the counters, and there's so many different counters that are open that even though there's a ton of people, it never feels like you don't have to wait in line for your food when you're there for early morning magic. You go in and you say how many people, and they just give you how many ever plates of food for how many people you say. They don't check anything. They don't make sure. I could have said 10 people and they would have given me 10 plates of food. But on the plate of food, you get like pancakes and like sausage and bacon and eggs or something like that. Like it's a good traditional breakfast. And you get drinks. Like you could get like orange juice or apple juice. They also have like the buffet area, which will serve all your yogurts and pastries and bagels and oatmeals and tons of toppings. You'll have your syrup over there. You'll have your Tabasco sauce. your different cheeses, different breads. And I always like loading up on croissants and pastries. And I actually bring little baggies and I take them with me. I just like eating, I like eating bagels and I like the sausage there. The kids love the pancakes. I think there's 5 of us. I think we only ended up getting 3 or 4 actual plates of food because we just can't eat it all. Oh, and they have breakfast potatoes. I forgot that on the plate. And the breakfast potatoes are pretty good. And luckily, like I said, they have Tabasco and other toppings there, so you could really load up. You could put some stuff on your eggs if you wanted to. You can make it real nice. For some reason, I just ate croissants with cheese and butter, and I had a great time. Loved it. There's English muffins and stuff like that. There's little fruit pastries, and I think there was a few chocolate croissants, and it's a big, hearty, lovely breakfast. It can be, and the fruit is real fresh. I mean, like fresh pineapple, and like fresh pineapple, it's so much better than canned. And I just love eating the fruit. I could have thrown some fruit in a bag, and I may have at one point thrown some fruit in a plastic baggie and put it in our cooler to take with us. I hoard food. I'm notorious for that. I hoarded a few little bottles of Tabasco because they give you the cute little bottles and they are so cute. But I don't need a hot sauce. But they were so cute I had to get them just in case my husband wanted some. And he did end up using it, I think, at some point. Maybe. We still have one in our cabinet, actually. But anyway, I hoarded some food and took it with us because it's so yummy. And, with that price I paid, y'all, I wanted my money's worth. But it lasted till 10. And I think they were cleaning up right at 10, so if you wanted to sneak a little bit after 10, you could have. But they only let the people that pay for the early morning magic to get the food. So there is a way to control the other crowds from getting your food. Oh, and they also had coffee, which was nice, so I could take some coffee with me in like little to-go cups, and we took little juices to go, and it was just so nice. So, early morning magic, huge success. Once again, highly recommend it. If you got that dough, I recommend you going for it for sure. And not that anyone's like keeping tabs or even cares, but this was actually our first time being at the Magic Kingdom for this trip, which is just so odd to me that we did like a few days before, because it just seems like Magic Kingdom is kind of the park you want to start with, or you got to do it on the first day, and usually it is, but the chips just didn't fall that way. So it turned out this was our first day in the Magic Kingdom. Also want to point out that this morning in December 3rd, it was cold. We were all wearing big jackets. My kids were wearing their big winter jackets. I was wearing a lighter jacket, but my kids, they wore some fleecy lined stuff. We didn't end up needing it the whole day, but it was chilly. So we go through the park. At one point I stop and watch the quartet sing Christmas songs. There's just a group of guys, and they sing and they play a few instruments, and it's just lovely. Let me see if I can let y'all listen to some of the quartet singing. I want to say it was the Barber Quartet, but they weren't by the barber shop. Let me see if I can find something. Let's go to a different song. So, it was so cute. They were up towards the front of the park, and it was really cool. And every once in a while, I don't know what they were doing, but we saw a little brass band walk by. At one point by Casey's, I think we ended up going to lunch there, but there is that guy playing the piano outside of Casey's where you get like hot dogs and stuff, and he was so cute. He was adorable. And he was just playing his piano. Y'all, I just want y'all to know this guy looks happy too. Like, he is just smiling, just enjoying his life. not real sure if his hair color is natural, but you know what? He has got the most natural, beautiful smile, and he is darling. I believe that this day we did go run around Magic Kingdom a bit. I think we broke out the ponchos and went over to Splash Mountain. I can't really remember, y'all. I'm getting my days a little bit confused, but we did break out the ponchos and go on Splash Mountain. Now remember, it was a little chilly. It was already kind of cold outside, and so I didn't want to add wetness to that. But I love Splash Mountain. Splash Mountain is one of my it is my favorite ride at all Walt Disney World. So I could not even imagine not going on Splash Mountain, but I didn't want to get wet. So people laugh, okay? I just want y'all to know. People judge and they laugh when you wear ponchos on Splash Mountain. But I will say, after we got off Splash Mountain and the people that weren't wearing ponchos who got really wet, they were like, ugh, they had the right idea. They wore ponchos. They were freezing. They were so cold in their wet clothes. And even though they turn off some of the splash, some of the water cannons, you still naturally get splashed. And just every once in a while, you'll be that unlucky person that gets stuck right by this. There's like this part towards the end of the ride after you've already gone down the big hill in Splash Mountain that the little log ride stops. And it stops right where this little waterfall is like splashing on some rocks. And if you're stuck right there, those rocks, the water just splashes off those rocks and gets right on you. So I was happy to avoid it. I believe this may have been the day that we headed to go get some hot dogs or something like that at Casey's Corner. But before we got there, I stopped for some spring rolls at the spring roll cart. The spring roll cart is not to be missed. It is, if you're smack dab in the middle of Magic Kingdom and you are looking straight at the castle, make a left to go towards Adventureland. And right before you enter into Adventureland, there is the spring roll cart to the right. And this time they were serving, I think like pepperoni pizza spring rolls and cheeseburger spring rolls. I'd had the cheeseburger ones before and they were good. I was not real enthusiastic about the pepperoni spring rolls, but I wanted to try them anyway, just for the sake of research, of course. Oh, and thank goodness I did, because by God, those pepperoni pizza ones were so good. I don't even know why they were so good, but they tasted different than I thought. Like I don't know what I expected, and I can't even really put my finger on how they didn't taste just like you would think they would. But somehow they ended up being fantastic. Y'all, I almost cursed just then. They were so good, and I would highly recommend them. They're definitely my favorite. So far, those pepperoni pizza spring rolls are my favorite. Now, they're greasy, y'all. I mean, you're going to swim in grease when you eat them, but they're so good. I think you get a few with each order, so it's worth sharing. Overall, I think we had 2 little pepperoni pizza spring rolls, and then we had 2 little cheeseburger spring rolls. Both good. Both so delicious. We also, I think we had, a few of us got some hot dogs. They do have a little toppings bar where you can get some sauerkraut and stuff like that. Casey's Corner is always a real great choice. The seating is so limited though, so you got to stake out a seat. One thing we did do, which I constantly talk about, is mobile order. We mobile ordered so that we bypassed the 25-minute line, which was great, because right after you finish mobile ordering, it's like you're at the front of the line and they call your name and you get your food. So we still had about a 10-minute wait, but it probably saved us 20 minutes. And it was fantastic. During the day, I knew that we were coming back at night, but since it was daytime, I wanted to have a look around at some of the decorations. The decor on Main Street is adorable for Christmas. It's all this foliage and like wintry fruit scenes. I mean, it's so Christmassy. Oh, it was adorable. I took some pictures. Of course, I'm going to throw those up there. At night, it looks great too, but just, during the day, it was kind of cold outside. It felt Christmassy, which is weird because I didn't think it was going to feel that Christmassy being Florida, at Christmas time. But it really did. Like, it was chilly, and there was beautiful foliage, and the sun was just shining, and that really dark-haired piano player and the quartet was singing. I mean, y'all, it was just idyllic. It was perfect. But of course, we had to head on back. We had to get back to our hotel to take a nap because we had to get ready for the Christmas party. All right, so the Christmas party starts at 7, but if you're just buying a party ticket and you didn't buy a ticket for to get into Magic Kingdom that day, you could use your party ticket to get in to Magic Kingdom starting as early as 4 p.m. Now, they close the park to regular guests at 6. So if you don't have a party ticket at 6 o'clock, you get kind of ushered out. You can't go on any more rides. Now, they let the people that were already in line, you get to go through. So there will be a few people on some of the main attractions that still have a few people there, but they do a pretty good job of checking. So when we got there to Magic Kingdom, I can't exactly remember what time we got there. I think it was around 5:45, maybe closer to 6. We are not one of those people that we're going to waste our time waiting in huge lines for characters. Now, something that's neat about these special parties is you get to meet these characters that rare characters to see. And so it's really cool because the parties you could see Moana or all 7 dwarves or, just lots of cool characters. However, I just didn't want to waste my time. This was my only shot from, that I can think of that I will be at the Christmas party. So I just wanted to maximize my time. So some people start lining up, starting 4 or 5 p.m. They start using that party time to wait in line for characters. We did not. Anyway, what I was saying is we got checked in. We get ushered to a certain turnstile. So we have to, we scan our passes, and then they, again, give us a wristband. And once we walk into Magic Kingdom, they make us go a little bit to the right. You go through an alleyway that's behind Main Street, some of the buildings, and they give you cookies, and there's some things to take pictures of. And that's how you start off the evening. So the first thing we did, I think it was around, I don't know, 6:30 or something. Even before the party started, the Elsa lit up the castle to be all frozen and sparkly. It's like a little show. We weren't really close, but we could see just fine. I mean, I just didn't care about fighting crowds, but it was just beautiful, and it was really cute. We had a few things we wanted to do. One thing I wanted to do was I, of course, wanted to get a lot of cookies. I wanted to try some of the foods, and I wanted to go on the Speedway because I hear it has a neat overlay. I wanted to go on Space Mountain because they had a Christmas overlay. They kept the lights on. There was a few other things I wanted to do. I believe before the party started, not during the party, but at some point, I think my husband had taken some of the kids to do something, and at some point I went and rode Jungle Cruise, which turns into Jingle Cruise at Christmas time, not just during the Christmas party, but all through December. And it's a kind of a holiday themed Jungle Cruise called the Jingle Cruise. And I think me and my son went and rode that. We may have actually done that early in the day. I can't remember. I can't keep stuff straight. So they wait until 7 p.m. exactly to start serving cookies and doing all the Christmas overlay stuff. And I can't exactly remember which place we went to first, but I think we went to Cosmic Rays, where they may have given us like a snickerdoodle or sugar cookie sort of thing. And they give you apple cider, which is just apple juice. I don't know why they call it apple cider. It's not hot. It's not flavored cinnamony. It's just apple juice. But they give you some hot cocoa, and the hot cocoa is good. Like, it's served at like the temperature you want to drink it at. It was really good and chocolatey. I think it was Nestle or something like that, but it was really good. The hot chocolate is super good. They did have some healthier options at times at the different cookie stations. If you did not want the cookies, they had some gluten-free options. They had fruit, like they had little squeezy applesauces. At some of the stations, when they were giving out cookies, we got a few Rice Krispie treats. We didn't go to all the cookie stations, and these cookie stations are all throughout the Magic Kingdom, just different places. And there's usually a huge line, but the line moves pretty fast, which was great. They served at I know at not Cosmic Race, at the Pinocchio Village House. They serve Fanta, which was kind of neat. And they'll have just different varieties of cookies. So one place they'll have snickerdoodles, one place they'll have chocolate chip, one place they'll just have sugar cookie or something like that. They also were serving throughout the park. They were serving these little warm, soft, like snowman-shaped pretzels, and they were really good. The only thing missing was mustard. I really wanted some mustard, but they didn't have any mustard there, so you would have had to go to a quick service location and just grab a few packets, which would have been easy. In retrospect, I wish I would have done that. I'm really hungry right now, and talking about food just makes me want some. Then I believe we headed, or maybe the first thing we did was we rode the Speedway. And the Christmas overlay is super cute. I have not done the Speedway in over 20 years. It's never been a ride I really enjoyed that much. I remember being a kid and getting stuck in there, and a cast member had to go and help me drive around. So I've never really enjoyed it. But this time, I loved it. It was so much fun. It was my kid's first time to ride. So it was me and my middle kid, my daughter, my 6-year-old, and I let her drive. And then behind us was my husband, my son, and my older daughter. My older daughter, poor Vivian, she's not tall enough to be able to get in a car by herself. That's what she wanted to do. She wanted to drive herself, and I wish they would have let her. To me, she seems tall enough. But nope, she couldn't. So she drove around with my husband and son. I don't think they had a great time because I think they were all fighting for the steering wheel. However, Martha, my middle child, she's a terrible driver. So it was just funny. And, I kept being like, oh my gosh. And they were playing Christmas music, and it was just super cute. Like they were playing the Trans-Siberian Orchestra Christmas music. So, it was kind of retro synthesizer sounds, and they had some of the decorations were lit up, and it was we just laughed and laughed, and it was a really great experience, and I'd love to do it again. Over there by the Speedway, I did see they were having Tweedledee and Tweedledum, which was kind of cool. But at this point, for character meet and greets, but at this point we went in to get cookies at Cosmic Race. They were also in Cosmic Race. They were having a dance party, and they had some rando character deer that were dancing, and some I wanted to say snow bears, but polar bears. Every once in a while they would switch off of polar bears. There'd be a polar bear, and then there'd be a deer, and I mean, like having a dance party with a DJ, and it was great. My kids enjoyed that. We headed over there to get more cookies and snacks, and we went to another dance party over there by the Dumbo area in Fantasyland. I wanted to say Grand Exposition, but because my mind is so set on Branson and Solar City, but it is in the area by Dumbo and the circus tents. They were having a dance party with Doc McStuffins and Fancy Nancy, and I think we probably stayed there, I'm going to say a good 35 minutes, like excessively long amount of time. I'm not going to say we wasted time, but we sure spent a ton of time just dancing and just letting the kids do whatever they wanted. And it's times like these, it's those moments where, you just got to let the kids do what they want to do. And all 3 kids just kind of wanted to dance around for a while, and that was fine. I mean, that's what they wanted to do. They don't often get that experience to dance with Fancy Nancy and Doc McStuffin, so it was really cute. So we allowed them to do that. Now, right there by that spot where we were dancing, they did have all 7 dwarves lined up where you could meet them. But if you wanted to do that, you were going to wait in about a 90 minute to 2 hour wait. And that just wasn't something I was willing to do. We did go on Barnstormer several times. My son loves it. He's big enough to go on it, so he loved it. So we rode on that. I believe we I can't remember what all we rode. We just rode some of the typical rides. I mean, we weren't real ride heavy. We were real snack heavy. We did want to make sure that we saw all the fireworks and the shows. And then at 9:30, y'all, 9:30 things started changing for the party. Changing for the better, of course, because at 9:30 was our check-in time. 9 or 9:30, I can't really remember, was the Tony Town Square party. So I think it's called Tony's Most Merriest Town Square Party. And it was just amazing. It was so great. So you check in and you've had to have already bought your tickets. And this is where I'm going to lose a lot of you guys. And I understand. And again, it's a splurge. And I can do whatever I want with my money. And this is how I choose to spend it. And I do crazy things like spend $100 per person to go to a party within a party that I've already spent $100 per person to get into. So the Christmas party itself was already $105 for adults. Kids were about $99. Okay. Go ahead and do this math. I don't have to pay for my son, but I do have to pay. There's 4 of us I have to pay for. To get into this party, it's $100 a pop per kid, minus my 2-year-old, but I had to pay $400 for 4 of us to go to this party. Now, if you're an adult, one of the benefits of this party is you can drink. You can drink as much as you want, y'all. Beer, wine, they got you covered. If you're a kid, the value goes down, of course, because you can't drink alcohol. But they have tons of hot cocoa and apple cider. They have all sorts of stuff that kids could drink. So you have unlimited food and beverages there, unlimited. And they have amazing food. Like, I thought it was just going to be like just appetizer stuff. And I guess it was, but it was like food, y'all. It was yummy food. I forgot to mention that one of the advantages of booking this party is you get really good seats for the Christmas parade. And the Christmas parade was really important to me. It was one of the things I was really looking forward to seeing. And I didn't want to fight any crowds or have too much problem seeing it with a good shot. I wanted to get my kids up front, but I didn't actually want to wait for a spot. So the part of the price of the party went to getting good spots. Now, we can debate if the $400 was worth it for my family. But keep in mind, guys, I have to research for y'all. I have to research for us. And this was my splurge and the only time I'm ever going to be going to Disney World at Christmas time, probably. So, I just had to do it. They advertise it as having some savory appetizers and hors d'oeuvres. But like I said, I thought the food there was awesome. And they have food spread out. They have little food stations all throughout the Town Square restaurant. And you have to have another wristband to get in. Of course, you have to check in. And one of the first things I saw, they had this like shrimp scampi sort of dish. And it was like all garlicky and buttery looking. So I'm going to read a little bit more about some of the food they had. They have different meats and prosciutto, salami, marinated olives, like a typical kind of Italian salady sort of thing. But they had like all these different meats and cheeses. They had, different types of breads. The hot foods, they had this meatballs. The meatballs were really good and like a good sauce. They had fried raviolis, which were all yummy. They had miniature chicken parmesan things that, I'm going to say everything's good. They had some mozzarella sticks, zucchini fries, little beef empanadas. They had some pizza, like different types of pizza, like hand-tossed pizza. So cheese and pepperoni, and some with just like tomatoes. They had some calamari. They had boars and cheese stuffed artichokes. They had this little beef tenderloin sort of dish. They had amazing food, and it was all like appetizer, so it was great to just try a bunch of stuff. They also had tons of desserts. They had little pizzelle. Had someone making little pizzelle things where you could put your own toppings in. They had red velvet cupcakes, pumpkin tartlets, tiramisu, Yule logs. It seems like they had like lots of little shot glasses filled with, different things. I think something was like a gingerbread pudding or something like that. And they had so much different things to drink. They had coffee and hot chocolate, apple cider. They had tons of wine. I mean, they had a great selection of wine, champagne, beer. I mean, you could just load up, y'all. Load up. While you're in there, Tony, the famous Tony from Lady and the Tramp, who owns that restaurant where the two dogs eat their spaghetti, because that's what this restaurant's, from. So Tony walks around. It's kind of like a character meal, in my opinion, because Tony walks around and sings and interacts really good. It was probably our best character interaction that we have ever had at Disney World. I'm going to play you a little audio of Tony. And he's having the kids shake a little Eeyore with some bells. And he's just looking at my kids singing to him with a little, what do you call those things, harpsichords? He makes the kids say hee-haw. Okay, so you kind of get the picture there, but I mean, he stayed with you for like over 2 minutes, like interacting with all the kids, giving each kid a turn to sing and participate, and he just kept going around and around to all the tables, and he seemed so authentic. Like, it was so cool. It was great. And they let you know when it's time for the fireworks to go off. The fireworks, I can't remember, we're going off around 10 something, and they tell you. And we left all of our food there, and I was like, oh, we're leaving all of our food and drinks there. And then when we came back, they actually had already cleaned it up. But it's okay. We could keep getting more. And they keep having food until 12:30. They keep serving alcohol and food until 12:30. Keep in mind, the park closes at 12. So you actually get to party longer then the park is actually open. So while everyone else is leaving, you can stay and party. So you're not allowed to take drinks outside. They don't let you do that, and they know when you're trying to be sneaky. They don't let you take one of those insulated cups out with alcohol. They do watch you pretty closely there, and they don't just hand those out. So, but they do allow you to take like the apple cider or Cokes or hot chocolate out to watch the parade or the fireworks. So they told us when the fireworks are going out, so we just went outside the restaurant and walked a few feet onto Main Street and saw the fireworks, and it was beautiful. It was fantastic. And during the fireworks, the snow is falling, the little Snope stuff. It's like fake snow made of soap bubbles. It's so cute, and we got some really good pictures, and my kids were just playing in it over there by the restaurant. It was beautiful. It was a great spot. We went right back in. And we went right back to it, y'all. We went right back to all the food. I mean, I was loading up on meatballs and they had some like little sausage ball with peppers. I was in hog heaven, y'all. I was eating so. I'm trying to think what were my favorites. I mean, I always love toasted ravioli, but I was going to town. Those shrimp. It's just so great. I tried a little champagne. I tried a little red wine. I don't really drink that much, but I just wanted to sip, and I could do it because I paid for it. So I made sure I tried everything, and I tried to eat and drink as much as I possibly could. Got lots of Cokes, lots of Diet Cokes, even though it was late at night, way past my caffeine time. So, and y'all, we pretty much just hung out there, and we loved it. We loved just hanging out inside the restaurant. And then when it was time for the parade, we went and lined up, and we got a front row seat for the parade. And we could see the castle right there in the background. We could see everyone walk by. Perfect seats. And they actually checked. They made sure no one who didn't have a wristband could come sit in this area, because this seating area it's right when you walk in Magic Kingdom, there's a road, and the road kind of makes a circle around a little, I don't know, I want to say like cul-de-sac. Like there's like a little garden area in the middle, kind of, where usually there's like a character meet and greet in there. So we were kind of front and center. I mean, we were like in the middle of the parade. Like the parade literally goes around us. And we were able to give some of the parade performers high fives and we were drinking our hot chocolate and our cider. And it was very exclusive. Only people at the party were there, so it wasn't overly crowded. There weren't people crawling on top of you. Everyone got a front row seat that wanted a front row seat. We were able to sit down. We were able to stand up. We were able to wave at the characters real good. So we had a little bit more interaction than I think a lot of people did. The characters, and played. There was a few performers and dancers that would like play with a beach ball with the kids before the parade. And I just love the parade. I just need to point that out. I love the Christmas parade. It was adorable. I loved all the characters that we saw. But and the music, and everyone's so festive and dancing. There's toy soldiers and these cute little reindeer. And I really liked there's different floats, different themes. They have so many different themes, but one of the greatest was they had like a Frozen themed with Kristoff and Sven. They had a themed like parade float. But what was so cool about this parade is they pump in the smells, like they pump in scents. So when different floats go by, you smell a certain thing. So when Sven and Kristoff were going through, they're all woodsmen, so they had this piney scent, like this pine, like a Christmas tree pine scent being pumped in. And then you could smell like on one time, I think it was like Mrs. Claus or someone was baking, or Clarabelle, someone was baking something, and there was like gingerbread scent, and Goofy comes by and there's candy scents. There's all these amazing scented floats, which was so cool. I'd never even heard of them doing that. I mean, I know everyone who's gone to these parades probably knows, but I'd never gone. So it was new and exciting, and it was lovely. And by this time, by the time the parade is over, most people are leaving. But we're not, of course. We are staying to enjoy the last little bits of that Tony's party. And this is when we all got lots of desserts. And it's already midnight, but my kids are troopers. They are hanging in there. And they are loading up on cookies and cakes and treats and little bitty things, shot glasses filled with, I don't know, gingerbread pudding or something. I don't know what all. I snagged several Diet Cokes and put them in the stroller. I think I snagged some other treats and put them in some sacks to take with us. And overall, I think my husband and I, we love the Tony Town Square party. I mean, I guess looking back, I'm glad I did it, and I don't have any regrets. It would be hard for me to justify doing the cost again with the kids. Like, if it was just my husband and I, definitely, absolutely. But having to pay, like, next year, my son will be 3, and that would be another $100 for a 3-year-old. I don't think I could justify the cost as much. But, I mean, again, it's kind of my splurge thing, and I know it's overpriced and ridiculous, but for what you get, it's so cute, and I love the food. The food was so good. I don't know. I'm telling myself I wouldn't splurge again, because that's ridiculous to pay $100 for kids to eat, a little bit. But I had such a good time. I'd love to do it again. I would definitely do it again. I would just have to think twice if I wanted to, bring kids. But it was amazing. Highly recommend. If you can splurge on this, and you like to drink a drink, and you want to drink a drink in the Magic Kingdom, and you want to eat some really good food, I say invest, y'all. Invest in the Tony's party within a party. And that pretty much sums up the most expensive day ever. So if you are following along with the math, let me just go ahead and kind of recap. And I'm not even going to do a total, because I don't want to do the math and I don't want to think about it. Because I did pay for these things in different chunks. Like, I bought tickets to the Christmas party one time. And then, a few weeks later, I may have bought the tickets to the Tony Town Square party. And then, like, a few weeks later, I bought tickets for the early morning magic. So I didn't pay all this at once. But, keep in mind, about $90 per person for $90 for 2 adults. So 90 a piece for early morning magic. About $80 for 2 kids for early morning magic. Paid about $105 for my Christmas party. I may have gotten a little bit of discount on all these, by the way, with my annual pass, because I do get a discount on things. I just can't remember how much discount I got. So I paid around $100, $105 for an adult. So 2 adult party tickets. So, close to 200 and something for adults. And each kid's party ticket costs about $100. So I got a few hundred there. The Tony's Town Square party was $99 a piece, $100 per person. per paying guest, so that would have been $400. That one's easy. So it was the most expensive Disney day ever. I had, 2 special events and then a party within a party. I'm so fancy. My fancy sister Rachel would be so proud of me. Actually, she wouldn't. She'd probably think, I would never bring kids to that. And then she would see the wine and be like, yeah, that is a great idea to go to Magic Kingdom and drink a drink. She actually would have loved it. So that wraps up my day at Magic Kingdom. I still have lots more to talk about this trip. Who knows when I'll get around to recording it. So if you're following along, I sure appreciate that. Hey, if you haven't already, check me out on Facebook. We do have a Facebook page, Roadtrip WDW. I love to connect with people, talk to you. Please, if you haven't already, please leave us an iTunes review. Go to the iTunes store app spot, wherever you do that. And leave a review so it helps other people find me, helps all my tech unsavvy family members find me. And leave me any sort of reviews, email me, leave comments. I'd love to hear from people. We love to interact. I love emails. You can email me at roadtripwdw@gmail.com. You can follow us along on Instagram at roadtripwdw podcast. We'd love to connect. And so that will do it for today's show. All right, road trippers. See you real soon.